0.6 experience poverty.
Black women who are single mothers, who are unmarried, experience
Turn this
poverty.
mic up.
They experience poverty at a rate of 39.4%.
Okay. So we talked about experience. This was Black women, right?
Right.
Black women experiencing poverty, and of those 39%, they were also single mothers,
unmarried mothers. Yes,
unmarried mothers. So when I left, I kind of thought the other 60% are married, or they just are not in poverty. There are other unmarried mothers as well.
Correct.
Okay. So as we discuss this topic of how to change this, because part of the initial thing was kind of the cure, and don't know if Friday I felt like we touched bases on one cure, which was, or one cure that could possibly work.
No, we touched on a couple of cures.
What were they? One, what?
The first one is marry before you carry.
Marry before you carry.
And the second one that we had the majority of the conversation about is the elimination of welfare, removing the incentive, the financial incentive for these women to keep making bad choices.
Now, if you want to watch the original show, the Facebook Live of it is on Wanda B on Facebook. It's also on WVON AM 1690's Facebook page as well, if you'd like to go and view it from the original topic. So a lot of callers in. I believe that I really believe that one of the cures that women wouldn't have multiple children if we eliminated them being able to add X amount of children. I'm not sure if that would change. I think they would still have them.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The women, and again, we had callers who called in and people on our Facebook page who affirmed this.
No. No one person can affirm anything.
Sure,
they can affirm, but that doesn't make it true just because they.
No, people are talking about their anecdotal experience. So people called in and said they know women personally who get pregnant or who get pregnant a second or a third time because they know that there's a financial benefit to doing so.
Okay, and I guess I shouldn't say that I don't think it ever happens. Like, I think there's everything in life has a possibility of happening. So it absolutely can be that someone has done it. You can know two people, because I really sat back and thought about, do I actually know? And I was trying to figure out why. I really don't know that many people on welfare, period.
Sure.
And so,
do you know any women who are getting child support?
Is that considered welfare?
No, I'm making.
I was asking.
No, it's not welfare.
I say yes.
No, it's not welfare.
No.
But
do I know women getting child support? I know way more women getting child support than welfare.
Okay, all right. Is that fair?
Is child support for child fair? Yes. Maybe the amount may not be fair for some.
But aren't men and women equal?
Men and women are not equal.
You don't think women are arguing in the 21st century that men and women are equal?
You didn't ask me that. You asked me if I thought men and women are equal.
Okay.
And I don't think men and women are
equal. So you would agree you're in a minority of women who believe that?
I don't know if I'm in the minority. I know what I think is that men and women are not equal. We don't get paid equally. Life doesn't see us equally. Unfortunately, we are not equal. And I shouldn't even say unfortunate, because I'm kind of okay with that. I don't want to be equal to a man. Now, I don't know if I'm in the minority of that. Y'all can tell me what y'all think. I don't want to be equal. I don't want to fight in a war. There's a lot of things men do that I am not a man, and I don't want to partake in men things.
Okay. All right. That's fair. So I guess ultimately I brought that up because ultimately my point is that the way that our social system is set up, women are not held accountable for when they make bad decisions. And I think you and I can agree that having multiple children out of wedlock, if you can't afford them, is a bad decision.
That's a bad decision. I do think they're held accountable because men do have the option of leaving.
That's not accountability. But that's
wait. Let me finish this statement.
Okay.
if a man has the option of leaving, you now have full responsibility of taking care of these children. So therefore, that is an accountability. You don't not going to have he has a choice to leave you. You now are electing to raise this child the entire life by yourself, and that is a penalty in my.
But that's not accountability, that's responsibility. Because even at that point, a woman still has the option to not. She could give her child away for adoption. She could just do. You go and do Page County here in Illinois. You can drop a newborn baby off at a government facility and just walk away.
I do not believe in. I think we probably won't be in the agreement that when children are being made, those are the thoughts that people are going through. Too many children out here for people to be having logical thoughts in the heat of the moment when R. Kelly is playing and 12 players going on, or whatever your Get in the Mood song is. Whatever that is, they are not thinking, you know what? It is irresponsible for me to do this without protection in this moment, so I'm not going to do it. And I just think
that's demonstrative of my point, is that if you are lying down as a female and you are about to engage in sex and it does not cross your mind, you know what, I'm not ready to be a mother right now, I better take some steps to prevent me from being a mother prematurely. If you're not thinking about that, that's the height of irresponsibility, especially when you are not financially in the position to take care of that child.
And because this is He Said, She Said, Wanda to be on IntellectualRadio.com and not the David Seaton Show, I am going to bring in the equal factor here. It's also irresponsible then of the man to, if he knows he doesn't want to have children and he doesn't want to wear a condom, that he too is in the same predicament of doing something irresponsible in the moment.
Can we agree that there are women who purposely target men to have sex so that they can get pregnant on purpose, even though they know that man, they've sat down with that man and had a conversation, and the man said he doesn't want to have a baby?
I think that absolutely happens, but I think those particular women know that man has the potential to actually afford the child, and they're doing it intentionally to get to a check, to get to fame, to get to fortune. They're not the ones that are going to end up on the 39.46.
Well, now we're talking. No, but
I do believe those women happen, but I don't think they make up this number over here.
You changed. No, you changed the subject when you said that the men are equally responsible when you have sex.
I'm not changing the subject. Go ahead.
Because no, the men, because you can, both men and women are 50% responsible for the conception of a child.
Okay.
But the child is goes through from the stage of zygote to embryo to fetus to birth in the woman's body. So while it takes a man and a woman to have sex, it takes a sperm and an egg for a baby to be conceived. The woman has the greater responsibility because the baby is going to be in her body for 9 months.
The woman has the greater responsibility, true. But the man who doesn't want to be on child support is going to wind up having some responsibility too, that he could then prevent as well.
And that's my point. My point is that our system does not hold women accountable.
How are you not accountable? How do you feel accountability? What is the difference of accountability and responsibility to you?
Responsibility is something that's learned, and that's something that is voluntary. Like, if again, you can be responsible. A woman can have a baby, and she's responsible for that baby, but she can give up that responsibility.
So how is that? What is not being accountable and being responsible at the same time? What does that look like?
I don't know I don't
understand how you can be responsible and not you're not being held accountable with that responsibility. You're saying you can be not taking accountability, but you have all the responsibility.
I'm saying that if a mother has a child and she decides that she wants to keep that baby, whether she decides she wants to keep the baby or not, that choice is her responsibility.
I heard that. Now tell me
the accountability. The accountability is that if the woman decides to keep it and she can't afford it, She's going to get Section 8, she's going to get WIC, she's going to get food stamps. If there's a father out there who has a job, she's going to get child support. She's going to get all of this support irrespective of whether or not she's able to take care of that child on her own. That means that there's no accountability, whether the woman has 100% of the responsibility of the decision, because women control who's born. A man can't tell a woman, you can't have my baby.
Okay, so 100% you say, but they will have accountability, because no matter if they get all that funding, it's still not going to actually be enough to take care of the child.
You're making a different 100%. Point. You're making a different point, because that even illustrates my point more. If a woman can't take care of the baby by herself, and she's going to get all these social services, and in your opinion, that's still not enough money to take care of the baby, that makes her decision even the more irresponsible.
And I'm bringing up the man equally in this conversation, which will be different than what it was Friday. I still believe that men are very upset that they have to pay child support, knowing the system is set up this way. Why would you allow it to get totally into her hands to make all the decisions for the rest of your life if you don't want to be on child support?
I agree with you 100% that men, and we said this when we had our conversation about holding men accountable in January. I'm 100% of the belief that men should be more responsible with their seed. I said on that show in January,
any accountability? No.
Yeah, they have some accountability. I never said that they don't. What I said, what I'm saying is, what I'm saying that men, if a man and a woman sit down, or they get pregnant, if the man and the woman had an equal say in becoming a parent, then this conversation is completely different. But if a woman gets pregnant and she decides, if a woman wants to keep the child and the man doesn't, he can't do anything.
But he should know then that if he didn't use any form of protection, now if she lied, that's a different story. But if that
happens a lot. You can't say that parenthetically. You know the story about Drake, right?
Who?
Drake, the rapper.
No, I don't.
Drake, the rapper, had a situation. This was all over social media about a year or two ago, where he went out, had sex with a woman. He took the condom and he put some hot sauce in the condom, because he was told by somebody that if you put hot sauce in the condom, it kills the sperm. So he put some hot sauce in the condom, put the condom in the garbage can. The woman sneaks into the bathroom and takes the condom and tries to inseminate herself, but there's hot sauce in it, so she wound up burning herself. She sued him.
Okay, so we got one instance.
No, that happened. No, I'm saying
people
things
aren't doing that for Joe Blow on the street. They're not going to get the hot sauce condom and trying to impregnate themselves.
Okay,
but I do understand that happens. You're saying that women intentionally, and I've already agreed that the ones that are doing the fake trying to get pregnant by you are part of the 60% over here, the unwed ones, that they're not part of the 39.6. Their whole point is to get your checks. But I still think a man has accountability and responsibility for himself. Now, he did it by his hot sauce. Drake, kudos. Very, very smart. Then if she went on to have a baby, I can not say nothing. Drake did his due diligence for you not to get his and she should be put in jail for what she did.
Absolutely.
So most guys aren't going the extent of Drake. And now I totally think Drake is in the right, and the way you should be suing me. I didn't give you my seed. I didn't have sex with you. I used the condom. He did everything. That is accountability.
Absolutely.
Most men aren't doing the Drake.
I understand that, and and I'm not arguing that point. I think where we are diverging, we can agree that the conception of a child takes the participation of a man and a woman.
Correct.
That's not in dispute. Both people, if you're not ready to be a parent, you should take steps to make sure that you don't become a parent. The man and the woman have an equal responsibility in timing and planning when they decide they want to have a family. I agree with that 100%.
I agree. They both have accountability. It's just different. They both have an accountability to take, but the outcome and why is going to be different. The man's why is because he doesn't want to be on child support. I don't trust you that you say you on whatever. He didn't trust whatever. He put hot sauce. He did his due diligence. You shouldn't trust that something you can't see or not feel. If she says she's on the pill, if you know you don't want to raise a child, your next step is to put on a do something you can control, and don't believe them.
Completely understand.
So,
you and I are in agreement there. But here's
Okay.
here's demonstrably what's happening. You arguing the woman's side are proving my point. Women don't hold other women accountable.
What do you want me to do though?
Because
I don't know what accountability means.
Because we're talking about
a woman.
We're talking about, this conversation was about how do we decrease the amount of out of wedlock births in the Black community, because it happens over 70% of the time.
I can control that.
No, I'm saying that we're having a conversation and we know that women control who's born. So my premise was, let's disincentivize women for continuing to have multiple children out of wedlock. And we can't even have that conversation because you're going to the other side and saying, well, the man should make sure that he don't get the woman pregnant in the first place. That's not what we're talking about.
Well, for this show, let me be clear. I'm not having the same conversation you have.
Okay, you're changing the conversation.
This conversation is going to be equally on both, because I do believe equally we can change. I do believe we can reduce the amount of births if we equally did something. I don't believe the woman has 100% accountability to take for there to be less births. I think we both have, men on another thing, women on another thing. Women being accountable for their bodies, their situation, them not being on welfare, doesn't include the man. The man needs, and there needs to be an equal conversation that I tell my sons, a mom of 2 sons, don't trust these women. You're going to be on child support. She's going to be taking your check. You're not going to like it. Don't let it tell you that she has she's on the pill. Don't let it. You wrap it up.
But here's another data point that makes this conversation interesting. 50% of Black men are single and childless, and 35% of Black men are married. So let me say that one more time. Half of Black men are single and childless, and 35% of Black men are married. That means all of these children that are being born out of wedlock are being fathered by this small percentage, this 15% of men.
Okay, well, they also have 10, 15, so they're doing a whole lot. They can have way more children in a year than a woman can have. That makes sense. The numbers make sense.
No, what I'm saying is that even when you try and make this an equal conversation about responsibility between men and women, 85% of men either don't have children on purpose.
The married ones have children are getting divorced. The married ones count in the equation because they're getting divorced and paying child support.
No, we're not.
You're not talking about them.
No, I'm saying that's not the same thing. You can.
It is.
It's the same thing. If you and I get married and have a child and get divorced, that's the same thing as you and I having a baby out of wedlock.
It's the same thing that I know many. Now that I know more of than on welfare, men that have children and are married. They have children out of wedlock over here and have a whole married life. I know many of those.
So
they have women over here, married or not. They have women out here on the poverty thing.
With their
children. But that's not a small number.
It is a small number.
Okay. We don't have the number, so we
do have the number. No, we're not guesstimating. The two main reasons that marriages, or the two biggest reasons why marriages fail, is finances and infidelity. Those are the two biggest reasons why marriages fail. So if we know that 35% of Black men are married, that means that half of them are going to get married and stay married, and the other half are going to get divorced. That's 50% of marriages succeed or fail. So that means 50% of them succeed. So, and we know that. No, what? Why are you shaking your head?
Staying married doesn't equate to success, in my opinion.
I'm only talking about whether you are married or not.
Okay.
I'm not saying that if you stay married,
the success of being still married.
Right. I'm not saying that if
successful marriage.
Correct. I'm not saying a successful marriage. I'm saying you're married.
Okay.
So if 50% of married people, they stay married, So then that takes that 35% down to 17%. And then, so those 17% of men are going to get divorced. And the biggest two reasons are infidelity and money. So we're talking, so even if it's the majority of that 17%, we're still talking about a very small percentage of married men who have children outside of their marriage.
You're equating that the 35%, that 17% are the ones that had children out of wedlock because they got divorced. In these successful marriages, I know people still married 30 years that have another child, and know multiple ones that have in the successful range.
Okay, are you
that also have children outside of their marriage?
Are you saying that the majority of married men have children outside of their marriage? Okay, so if we're talking,
I don't know the number exactly.
Okay, but we can agree it's not the majority.
We can. I don't know if I could agree. I don't know, but so I'll agree that I would assume it's not the majority of them.
I think that
is a chunk.
Sure. Okay, it's a chunk. But whatever it is, it's not the majority.
It's not the majority of the 50%. I think you said it was 50 that were over there and 35 over here. But I do believe that. So even if we're talking that the